What does it mean to be masculine? What does masculine mean? What does masculinity mean? This is Chris Huffman with Faithful Man, every day becoming a better man, and hopefully in the process helping you do the same with just off the cuff, off the hip, talking about masculinity. And the 10.5 year process I've gone through, and I'm still going through, to help develop myself as a better man, myself as a better Christian, better preacher, a better leader, a better business owner, a better husband, better father, better friend. Who knows how long this is going to be? But if you really want to learn something, if you really want to learn, you'll stay for the entire video. There'll be some funny moments, there'll be some serious moments, lessons I've learned, life lessons, and biblical foundation for what we believe and teach here at Faithful Man. You can like and subscribe, reach out to us, text or phone 970-404-7165 or faithfulman513 at Gmail. And there's links. I'm still an old man trying to learn this stuff. That you can reach out to us, direct messaging or something. You know, jump on a call with us and we can see what direction's best for you. And I'm not knowing if me choosing to be out here in the sun was the best choice, but this is what we're doing, what we're running with. So what is masculinity? What it is not is what the world, what our great country, the United States of America, are putting out there as toxic masculinity. What the news is putting out there, what The View is putting out there, what social media outlets are putting out there, what the government is putting out there, and they all have an agenda to destroy true masculinity. And so they have brainwashed much of us to believing what is true masculinity is what they're now calling toxic masculinity. Now, there is a true masculinity and there is a toxic masculinity. It's not what they're calling toxic. We're not talking masculinity as the macho man, the jerk man, the controlling man. That is toxic masculinity and is really not masculinity at all. But true masculinity, in my own simple way of putting things, is one, you look at that man and there's no question he's a masculine man. So there is a certain look to it. It's the way a man carries himself, the way he walks, the way he stands, how he talks. Confidence, not arrogance, is crucial in masculinity. A humility and a kindness about him, but also the ability to be dangerous. He's not looking for danger. He's not looking for trouble. But he knows how to look. He knows how to be aware. And if he needs to be dangerous, if he needs to kick some, dare I say, ass, he can. It doesn't mean you're the biggest man or the strongest man or the man with the most muscles, But there is a certain level of you do take care of your body. You've got some decent control over your diet. You've got something that you're doing physically with your body, um, 3 or 4 days a week. It may just be you've got a simple, um, hard labor job that keeps you in decent shape. You still may have to go to the gym. You still may have to develop things. I'm trying to get some bigger arms. I'm trying to get a bigger chest. I'm an older man now, but I'm in better shape at 52 than I was when I was 32. I got some aches and pains that have crept up on me through the years. I got me a little knee brace on right now. We're trying to find natural ways. I'm not going to do surgery. I'm not going to take shots. Tried natural ways to heal my knee, but go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. I don't have the chest I want. I don't have the arms I want, but there's no question that I'm a man. Masculine men get females' attention. They get male attention as well. I know a guy, I won't give too much detail, but he's bigger than me, he's shorter than me, and he's kind of built like a box. It's just like a box with a head on top of it. And he's strong, and he's fast. I'm just going to tell you, it's my brother. And he works out consistently, but he's not trying to bulk. He's not trying to get chiseled. He's just taking care of his body, and he is strong, and he is fast. He was a cop for a lot of years. He's extremely fast. Would, unless I was fighting for my life, would probably kick my butt in a heartbeat. Where was I going with that? But he's got a big, he's got a big butt. We joke around a little, but he has gotten 3 or 4 guys through the years hitting on him. I remember one time he was walking through a mall and told me about this. Walking through a mall and some gay guy, and while we're on the point, no matter how masculine you are and look, if you're gay, you're not really masculine. Okay, that is just not part of the masculine agenda or God's agenda. Plenty of gay, strong, athletic dudes could kick my butt. But if you're gay, you're not masculine. That's going to get me in trouble. He walked by, some black dude walked by and turned around and said, "Damn!" about his butt. And then I told him, I said, "Dude, I don't know what it is. I've never had a gay guy hit on me. So you're probably putting off some vibes." And so we joked back and forth, but I was with him one time. He says, "Watch." We were at Taco Bell. He says, "Watch. This guy's hit on me before. He's not hit on me again." We get up there, and the guy just ignores me. Talking about, "Well, hey, how are you?" I don't even like faking talking like that. "I'm doing fine. Anything I can do for you today extra special?" "No, we're fine. I'm just going to order my food." "Okay." So I ordered his food, and he came back multiple times, checked, "Anything else? Can I fill that drink up for you?" Just ignoring me. So anyway, he's masculine. And so we want men, we want people. Men are going to notice us. Men are going to notice us. Women are going to notice us. And the more I walk with God, the more power I get. Even right now, dealing with a whole new season of life, and in my mind and heart, willing to do things that I never thought I would ever even be tempted to do. Not condoning them, I'm just at a phase in my life. I'm noticing that nearly every day, women are noticing me, and half of that time, I bet you half the time, I'm just being delusional. But I have decided I'm trying to date now, and I'm looking at the dating apps, and that's been nothing but a scam. The interaction has been nice. The attention of what I thought were females, but probably just some overweight dude who knows how to text and flirt. But the interaction was nice. But anytime I try to make a connection through a real phone call or meet or a video call, 100% of the time. Nobody ever did. So I said, well, I got to get some kind of interaction with humans. And so I did. I've been going to a country nightclub here the last few weeks and just enjoying watching people have a good time. Just enjoying watching people dance. Just enjoying the talent, okay, of people. And then seeing the smile on these ladies' faces, just having a good time. It's all been nice for me. And then having women come up to me and ask me to dance. And me finding women attractive and asking them to dance, and they're willing to dance with me. And they're willing to flirt with me. And we're having these interactions. And yes, I'm having a good time. But men and women will notice masculine men. You learn, I've even had conversations with dudes, just talking with dudes. Just the human interaction has been great for me. And real masculine men are kind, not necessarily nice, but they're kind. And they can carry on conversations with men and women because they got that level of confidence. Now, we've got ways to teach you confidence here at Faithful Man. If there's anything you're interested in doing, that confidence in general, confidence just in yourself, confidence in interacting with humans, confidence with women. Okay, we can help you with stuff like that. But everything we do is coming from a biblical perspective and a biblical foundation. But we're not going to preach to you and teach you. We're not going to try to save your soul. We want your soul to be saved. We want you to give your life to Christ. We want your interaction with us to get you thinking about your soul. But you don't need any of that stuff to learn these lessons. But those are some things about being masculine. And a lot of people say, well, real men love Jesus. Well, I believe that. Real men do love Jesus. But a phrase I want you to get in your mind, I think it was coined in the book The Way of Men. I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say it was Donovan. I don't think it's Donovan that wrote that book. I can't remember. The Way of Men. He uses the phrase quite often. Being a good man versus being good at being a man. And there's a difference. And we want to be good at being a man. At some level, we are good men, but at some level, we are bad men when we need to be. And a masculine man always is trying to find ways to develop himself into a better man, physically, spiritually, emotionally. He tests his limits. He tries new things. He gets out of his comfort zone. And when you do that, people start noticing. People start noticing. On a funny side of things, I believe I'm saying this because a lot of men that are masculine men, they have office jobs, okay? But there's a lot of effeminate. Masculine men are not effeminate. It's ungodly to be effeminate. If there's a certain way you walk or a certain way you talk, because of how you were raised with a bunch of sisters, raised by just a mom, whatever, watching a bunch of shows that promoted that type, and you've developed some femininity about you, that's not masculine. And we got ways to help you not do that as well. But you have office jobs, and we're not always in a tribe and at war to where you have to develop those more masculine skills. But so I say this tongue in cheek, but I believe with all my heart you as men have to develop some of these things and have these things on your person, in your life in some way. I believe a real man, and you can forgive me or you can laugh with me, a real man ought to have a wallet. Dag stinking nabbit. A real man ought to have a wallet. And he always ought to have some kind of cash. I'm low on cash. But he should always have a wallet. And it should be more simple. The days of this bulging wallet filled with all kinds of crap needs to go away with. All right, and this is a new wallet for me. I lost my wallet about 4 months ago. Lost everything. I had to redo everything, redo new identifications and all that. That was another trying period in my life where I just had to learn to calm down, trust God, move forward. Look, we got a few people on here watching, but a real man ought to have some kind of wallet, not a man purse. Oh, man you ought to be concerned about his hygiene. Okay, takes shower, at least once a day. Sometimes there are days where you don't take a shower, but you're taking multiple showers a week. You're taking care of your body. You're taking care of your teeth. Have some sort of gum, breath mint, breath strips on you all the time because you want to talk to people. You want to be approachable. Um, he ought to have some sort of knife on him, a pocket knife or one he wears on his wrist, or some sort of multi-tool, not his wrist, his waist, but has some sort of knife. Okay, and I got a lot of knives. Okay, this is one I carry every once in a while. Stag antler for you real masculine men, Damascus steel blade, and a case. All right. Ought to have some sort of lighter on them. You don't have to be a smoker to carry a lighter, or some way to start a fire. You just never know. You just never know. And some sort of survival skills. I'm wanting to go to a survival school, get better at survival skills. I joke with my family when I see them, hey, with my survival skills, if the apocalypse happens, I guarantee you I can take care of you for at least an hour. But some sort of survival instincts, and just having some fire with you. This is a survival bracelet. I don't even technically know how I would take it apart if I needed to, but I would figure it out. This is a survival bracelet. It's got a little fire starter on it. It's got a little flint thing right here. It's got a compass on it, and it's got a whistle. I don't have to have all this stuff, but I'm just saying that masculine men think about these things. Masculine men walk into a restaurant, and the soldiers know what I'm talking about. I wasn't a full-time soldier, but you get used to looking at your atmosphere. You're checking your sixes and your tens, if that's even the right way to say it, but you're looking, you're checking, you're aware of your surroundings. A man ought to always have a watch, and it ought to be a masculine looking watch, not some sissy faced watch. It ought to have some masculinity and some bulk to it. Okay? And women and people are just even drawn to these accessories of a man. Okay? I've got these 2 rings. Okay? This is where my wedding ring would have used to go, but standing for my marriage for 10.5 years. I finally took the ring off full time about 4 months ago. All right. But I got this ring because they represent masculinity, and I want every fiber of my being to promote that in the world, for them to know that, man, we got to have men, masculine men out there. So I got this ring. It's a wolf. Wolf is a sign of masculinity. A wolf is a survivor. A wolf mates for life. That's what that represents. This one is a ring with a compass and an anchor on it to help me stay supported, to stay strong, to stay connected. My anchor is the Bible, the Lord Jesus Christ. My anchor in masculinity, the compass to remind me to stay the course. Right? These are masculine traits. A masculine man drinks coffee. No, not necessarily. But a masculine man does learn how to better take care of his body and his diet. Now let's get to the biblical side of things. Okay? God created man and woman. Okay, God did that. And because God is the creator, he is the inventor, he is the definer of what true masculinity is. And you can throw out every book, every podcast, every video that's coming from good masculine men that may or may not be godly men, but they're promoting godly distinctives. They may not know it, that promote masculinity. You can throw all that away. There's a lot of good guys. There's a few guys I follow. And get back to the Bible. And the Bible will make it clear what masculinity is. And man, we went through how many years did all that, 4 to 8 years of all that transgender nonsense go on. And in the midst of all that, just ungodly people that were good people that didn't love God, didn't believe the Bible, any of that stuff, was saying, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. And I think America woke up at some level to the stupidity, the sinfulness, the propaganda our government is trying to push on us. And that whole transgender thing was allowed to run rampant 4 to 8 years, whatever it was. And and even I became a little bit more intimidated about what I would say and wouldn't say. But I got over that. But my lands, that is not masculinity. Masculinity, physically, how God created them. If you're born a male, and if you're confused by that, just pull down your pants. You've got a penis. Okay? You were born with a penis, you're a male, and by default, you're masculine. It's influences in our life, wherever they're coming from, that create the femininity that might be in you. That does not come naturally. A lot of that stuff comes from abuse, sexual abuse, or just being raised by a mom. Only having sisters. One of my best friends when I was younger, he was very effeminate. Not very, he just had some feminine traits, and he knew it. And he worked on them, and I think he got rid of them. But he was just raised by a bunch of sisters, a very aggressive mom, and a very passive dad. Okay? Outside influence, depending what you watch, what you listen to, creates those things. Women, if you're born women, ladies, you don't know what that means. Pull your pants down, pull your dress down, and look. If there's nothing hanging there, okay, you're a woman. You have a vagina, and I'm talking biologically. Just because you go get a sex change doesn't make that any more true. You were born with a penis, or you were born with a vagina. Therefore, that's what you are. Ladies do not naturally become more masculine. They are effeminate. Even the ones that are more tomboyish, that are still effeminate. Okay? Again, outside influences change that. Again, it might be abuse. It might just be raised by brothers. There may have been a rape or something that, and this can happen to men and women. Those outside influences change the demeanor, change the dynamics of that. And a lot of folks just don't deal with it. And I'm speaking on this from 2, if not 3, first-hand personal accounts, let alone the hundreds, if not thousands, of testimonies of people that are open about this. This ain't just coming from me. This is historically proven, statistically proven. Okay? So men are born with a penis. All right? Men like women. They like the form of women. They like the beauty of women. They like the shape of women. They're attracted to the attributes of women. It don't matter how Christian or how godly you are. You like women. Okay, and hopefully you find a wife. You stay faithful to that wife. You get all your pleasures filled up with your wife. You have a great and strong marriage. A lot of times women become more masculine because the husband is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. All kinds of dynamics into this thing. I'm just giving you the foundational truth. And hopefully you've got a good marriage and all your sexual desires are being fulfilled and you two are having a great time in the bedroom. Okay? But if you're divorced and single, okay, you need to look for a good woman. But we like women. And there are certain aspects that some men like more than others. And this has been a big fault in the churches. I've grown up independent Baptist, and independent Baptists in general, Christianity in general, they don't address these off-color issues. They don't address them honestly. You may need to change your audience sometimes. You may have to have a real adult conversation with the men and women in your church, and you let the kids and the teenagers go someplace else. But these things need to be talked about in our churches. We need to be able to say the word penis and vagina from the pulpit. We need to be able to talk about the realities of how you women dress. Don't matter how godly the men are, don't matter how godly the man in the pulpit is. When you're showing cleavage and you're showing your body shape, you're turning us on. Okay, that's just a fact. We are not perverts for liking the female. We are not perverts. If you bend down in front of us, we take a look. Now, if we're gazing and we turn into lust, that's something we got to deal with. But you as women have to deal with that as well. You walking in with low-cut shirts showing cleavage, we are not perverts for looking. And you women quit trying to act like you don't know what you're doing. Okay? I'm a boob man. I like the boobs. I like the butt. I like the legs. I like the neck. I like the lips. But my go-to, and of course we like the vagina, the hoo-ha. And we ought to learn how to be provocateurs with our wives. Okay, know how to please them and know how to get them to be comfortable and let themselves free in our presence sexually. Okay, but I'm a boob guy. And masculine men can talk about these things, and we need to be honest about these things. I think I'm going to stop there. I didn't know how long or how far this was going to go, but we're going to stop there. If anything we're saying resonates here with you at Faithful Man, call or text 970-404-7165 or faithfulman513 at Gmail. And until we meet again, you know who to keep your eyes on. Amen.